Hello and welcome to this week's Pulp Picks. My name is Patrick.
I'm Fritz.
I'm Sarah.
And we're going to give you our reading recommendations for this week's new comic book releases. And let's start with you, Sarah, because you had last week off and everybody has been waiting anxiously to hear from you again.
To know what I'm thinking.
Viewership shows a distinct drop-off.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I'm gone. Okay, well, this week I picked The Seasons Have Teeth, #1 by Dan Waters. I wasn't really sure what I was getting into when I picked it up, but I thought it was actually pretty interesting. Essentially, the seasons appear to be like these actual beings, but everyone is fleeing because spring is about to show up, which is kind of funny because we were like, right now I'm like, yeah, spring's finally here. Total opposite reaction. So I'm not really sure where it's going to go from here, and we have very little information on the main character. All we really know is that he is like a photojournalist, and so he stays behind. He tells everybody that he's left, but he is there to like try and capture spring, and it leads to some interesting things. So I don't want to give too terribly much away, but like the seasons are beings is like the big thing. So I don't know if he'll go off and chase summer now or but I thought it was really good. The art's pretty fun. It does some back and forth, so you get a little bit of his backstory. We know that his wife like has died, but we don't know what happened. But part of the reason he stays behind to see spring is because she always loved spring, and so he's like trying to have this reconnective thing with her. So yeah, I don't know.
I missed this one, but Boom has been putting out some good books, and you were showing us the art earlier, and it looks gorgeous.
I like it a lot, so I would highly recommend it. Fritz, what'd you pick this week?
So I picked the new Guardians of the Galaxy #1. Kind of setting up synergy with like the new movie coming out next month. Though this book is off to a very different vibe than the movies have. It's a lot darker, a lot more. You can kind of tell from the cover it's going for more like this like space western vibe. Like really leaning into that, and like for all the better. Like it gives it a very distinct flavor compared to like it. It's very much in like conversation with like previous runs. Like you get the feel of like, yeah, this is like a group that they've been through a lot together. They've seen like horrible things. They've been through war and this is just like the latest in a long line. And it might be the thing that like finally breaks them. Because spoiler alert, there's a reason that you don't see some of your like usual favorites on this cover.
Yeah.
Like some things have gone down. Apparently like it's a similar. It kind of has like a similar start that like a lot of Marvel relaunches have done recently. Like there's been a time skip since the last time there was a series, and like things have happened and we're having to deal with the consequences of that. I'd say this, as someone who like really, really enjoyed the previous run, like this does a really good job of like giving you enough like, enough hints in this first issue of just like where things went wrong, what's gone wrong, to like bridge the gap between those. So like it's fun seeing these like dynamics that like people that used to be so close together, like they're still close, but you're like really seeing like the strands between them start to fray. Like it also, the art is gorgeous. Kev Walker, we talked about it with his stuff on Predator a couple months back, but like dude can do space like nothing.
I loved his run on that first Predator series. I think he took it up even a notch on this one. It fits the Guardians of the Galaxy characters so well. This hit on every cylinder for me.
Especially like he's great at setting the mood. He's great at like his expression work and body language. Like everything he does is just top notch, and his environments and designs are just great. Like the thing that they're being chased by in this, he makes it absolutely horrifying.
Yeah. While, Mantis is flipping between a couple personalities, one of which is very over the top and cartoony, and it all works together really well. Yeah, it's It's super cool. And yeah, Lansing and Kelly.
Yep.
Currently working on the Steve Rogers Captain America book. They continue to impress me.
Oh, yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, over to you, Patrick.
Well, we were talking this morning about how many disturbing books there were that came out this week. And maybe it's nostalgia that made me pick this book, or maybe it was the fact that I just really needed something that was a little more wholesome. And cute furry bunny that's a samurai. I picked Yosagi Yojimbo, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Yosagi Yojimbo #1. Stan Sakai has been doing Yosagi Yojimbo for 40 years?
It's been a long time.
Yeah. And there have been Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossovers before. He sets this book right in the middle of Yosagi Yojimbo's timeline. It's got, I don't know, it's really well told and drawn, and you can tell that there was a singular vision for this book. He takes heavily from the Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles. This is not the more modern Ninja Turtles. It feels like they're being pulled right out of the original run. With a tiny bit of maybe some Archie vibes, but not in a bad way, in a good way. just because that kind of helps them, fit in a little bit better with the Yosagi Yojimbo vibe. It's gorgeous, and the story just flows. I feel like you don't really need to know many of the characters at all to be able to get what's going on here. I just really enjoyed this book. Sometimes something that's not trying to be more than what it is just really well received. I really liked it.
And the thing I've always liked with what I've read of like the Yosagi Yojimbo stuff, it's kind of similar to people who've ever watched Samurai Jack in terms of just like it's often very opposite episodic. You just kind of get dropped in, and it's just him kind of having to deal with whatever situation he's run across. And so it's always like, but like it does so in like such like an expert manner. Like it's just the craftsmanship is just so tight.
Well, and he's one of those writers and artists who a lot of the writers and artists, when they've been doing it for 40 years, their work doesn't age well, or their ability to continue to do the work just doesn't land the same that it used to. Not the case here at all. The quality of the writing, the quality of the art, it feels relevant. Like everything about this book was just really fun. So, yeah. Side note, when we were talking about how disturbing some of the books were, one of the books really, impressed all of us with a disclaimer. This book is not for everybody. It's messed up.
Yeah.
Like, it is really messed up. But we had a consensus pick because all of us read this, and impressed maybe isn't the word, but
intrigued.
Yeah,
definitely intrigued.
So, World Tree #1, the James Tynion book. This is the one that I felt like I needed a palate cleanser afterwards.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, after Yosagi Yojimbo, I read another one that just totally messed up my mind. And now I gotta find something else wholesome to wash that out. World Tree by James Tynion.
And that's up to you viewers to come and find out which one he's talking
about. I'll tell you in person because it's not appropriate for these videos. But World Tree #1, James Tynion's new book. There are a lot of buzz around this. I know that we had a lot of customers talking about it, a lot of internet buzz, but Sarah, I'll let you kind of start with the lowdown.
Base premise? Okay, so there's a lot to unpack. We're not really completely sure what's going on, other than like there's some software that like is doing not great things to people when they see it.
Yeah, and I don't completely understand the difference between what you're seeing in the physical world. Like, is it having an impact on the physical world?
It kind of seemed like it, but I wasn't.
It's kind of unclear, like how much of what. Like I think it's like. I want to say it's more visual representation and
Sure.
for like the reader than like what's actually happening.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It appears that things that you can see on the underweb, is that what it was called?
I think the undernet.
The
Yeah.
undernet.
The undernet.
Yeah, that's right. The undernet. Mess your brain up instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's murder and
Lots
gore
of murder.
and
Lots and lots of
nudity and
Yes,
just,
it's very much a mature book.
yeah. Don't,
It's like to give an idea for anyone who like they actually bring it up in this book. Like if you ever have been on, especially like back in the day, like go on 4chan, they'll have their threads and like every so often someone will just like post like some horrible picture or video in the middle of like an unrelated thread. Like they talk about that and just like the like the weird like niche internet cultures that can like spring up around this kind of stuff.
But the way that they reference that is that wasn't as bad as what's happening now.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, you know, everything pales in comparison. It's somewhere like kind of reminds me a bit of like The Ring. In we don't really know what's happening behind this stuff, but is there a demonic force? Is it human psychology? Like what's happening
well, and
here?
It seems like
we
there
have no
must
idea.
be some sort of like organization or cult that is like using it based on some of the things that are said by
yeah, because we get hints of
individuals.
Like
I don't want to say too much
working against each other.
Yeah.
Little bit of a girl with the dragon tattoo kind
That's
of vibe.
kind of what I
in
got
there
from that
right?
too. Yeah.
There's a character that's kind of like that, and the art is really well done.
Yeah, it is.
It's slightly off-putting and creepy, and it just fits really
Very
well.
much so.
Anyway, not for the faint of heart, but
No.
it is very interesting. I'm really curious about where this is going to go.
Yeah, very much so.
Anyway. Well, thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Fritz. Thank you, Sarah, for your insightful contributions today. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on social media, check out our website, and most importantly, get on into the shop because we love to see people in person and make personal recommendations also. We've got this great wall here. We've got tons of back issues and graphic novels. Always something new and fun. So, yeah, step on in. We'd love to see you. And we will see you next week because you're going to tune in. Or the World Tree will get you, or whatever that's going to be.
Man.
I don't know. Yeah, this just got really I assume that's what Image is doing. I got to think that this is all just a marketing campaign to make people buy stuff. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Have a great day. That wasn't ominous at all.